We had some billing issues. And,
Yes, we did. Yes.
So we figured it out. Everything seems to be okay at the moment. We'll see. But
running smooth for now.
Yeah.
So it seems. So we're good.
But yeah, we got a catch up show. It's gonna be probably a quick one, but still good stuff. We got some stuff to talk about. So
that we do. So yeah, thank you guys for joining us live and/or on playback. We appreciate the love and the support. And if you're new, we welcome you. And if you want to be a part of this here little family, and if you like what you see here, if you really enjoyed the show, please hit that thumbs up. Really helps the show reach a lot more people on both ends. Hit that notification bell to be reminded when all episodes drop. And most importantly, don't forget, most importantly, but also, it's free. Hit that subscribe button.
Do it.
I really appreciate you so much. All right. So, are you ready, sir?
I'm very ready, good sir.
Yes, same. So again, like we said, we're playing catch up. We didn't have a show last week. I was fucking perishing away from COVID for the 100th time. So I was not able to do it. So thank y'all for being patient and understanding and not killing us. Okay.
That's correct.
Let's see. We can do this. I don't know. It's been so fucking long. But anywho, y'all, for those of you who don't know, me and Logan are a couple of what?
Couple of fucking nerds.
Couple of fucking nerds, man. Which means we talk about film any now goddamn day. We love it. But sometimes the other things, we want to give our insight on. We want to talk about. We want to be passionate about. But the world of film still finds a way to rear her beautiful head into the conversation. Because why?
Because she's a jealous ass bitch, man.
Because she's a jealous ass bitch. Yes, she is. And we like to call this here particular segment, it should work because I did it for the intro.
That's correct.
Stupid. Yes, that is very correct. Not gonna sing today because I ain't got the energy for it. But it's out there in the world. And we thank y'all so much for taking this traveling destination with us around this bitch to see what's going on. So, there's a particular fashion in which we go about out there in the world. Logan, you mind telling the people who do not know what that fashion would be?
That would be traditionary fashion, my friend.
You're goddamn right it is. And in said fashion, sir, lead the way.
So got to remember we have 2 weeks of catching up to do. So I actually have a little bit of a story from, I guess the weekend after our previous episode. And that is, I took my barber to see Top Gun Maverick in IMAX Friday night 2 Fridays ago.
That's right, because you were saying that he hasn't seen it.
Correct.
Talking, right? Yeah.
And so it's cool that Walker is in here. That's my cousin. So it was Walker, me, and my barber. And my barber's name is Tommy. And Tommy was telling me, I was in the Navy and I worked on the planes. Like that, I was the lead mechanic and all that. And I was like, oh shit. I was like, well, you got to come see it. So anyway, came and saw it. It's one of my favorite movie viewing experiences of all time. That going and seeing it with him, because first of all, he doesn't get to go see movies that often, but he loves them. And so he was like, we walked in and he was like, hey man, you want popcorn? And I was like, first of all, the showing was at 10:15 p.m. or something like that. It was late. And I worked that day and all that. And so I was like, nah, I'm good. Like I already ate and I don't want to pee, so I don't want to drink either. And he was like, oh man, he's like, you got to get popcorn. You got to get a drink. And he was like all about it. And I was like, go for it, man. And all that. He was really excited though. And he sits down and he's like hyped, like he's amped up. And movie starts and it's that basically it's a copy of the first opening's montage. He starts losing it. He's like, that's what I did. And he was on aircraft carriers, working on jets, And he was like, at one point, he was the shooter guy. He was the guy that's on his knees pointing and like telling him to take off. And other times he was doing this. And he was like, I literally had my own plane. And so he was explaining how the F-18s on aircraft carriers have a head mechanic, and that is that guy's sole responsibility. And he was explaining how you don't really get to see it in the movie. And so he's like, it's kind of weird, but they didn't do it. But he's like, you know, the pilot's name is real big. So like where you see Pete, you know, Maverick Mitchell, right underneath that in much smaller print, but it's there, is the head mechanic's name. And he's like, my name was on a plane and it was my plane. And he was like telling us all this. And he, throughout the whole movie though, he's like losing it and like bird strike. And he's like freaking out about the bird strike. And like, because he's like, I had to deal with bird strikes. He's like, it's my job to make sure everything's good after a bird strike. You know, he's like, because they don't always make you crash. And he told a story about how his best friend had the same job as him and had his own plane and kind of got complacent in his job and didn't do a full like look over of the plane. And there was a full-blown bird from bird strike in the intake, and you're supposed to climb up in there and clean it and everything, make sure every time, and he didn't do it. That guy got thrown in prison. Like,
yeah, you can fucking kill that man.
Yeah, they take that shit so serious. And yeah, it's fucking awesome. And he was just telling insane stories about you know, one time he had to save a kid's life from getting sucked in the air tank or intake, because it'll just absolutely suck you in there and just obliterate you. And told another story about how one time there was a mechanic. One mechanic, his whole job is working on the ejection seats, and there was a pilot in there.
Eject those seat, oh cuz.
Yep. There was a pilot sitting in the seat, and he's like working on something real quick. It ended up going off with the canopy closed, and the guy just turned.
Goose.
The guy turned into liquid. Like it shoots you so hard that he just splattered and filled the whole cockpit. And he's like, yeah, they don't.
Disgusting.
He's like, they hide that shit pretty good.
It's not what happened to Goose, but
yeah, correct. And I was like, that's what happens to Goose in the first one. He's like, oh my God, that's right. You know, like he hits his head. But yeah, so anyway, it was an absolutely incredible experience. Afterwards, we just kind of hung out, the three of us, and he was telling stories. But he ended up saying literally everything that happens in the movie is very realistic. And he's like, it's one of his favorite movies now. He absolutely loves it. And I think it's deserving of that. So yeah, fucking awesome experience. Love it.
Congrats to $1 billion.
Yeah.
To a Billy.
I'm proud to say that I helped massively to get that motherfucker to $1 billion.
Same. I'm greatly pissed off
5 times
because I wanted to see it this weekend, and it was not playing at Lincoln's Center at all in IMAX.
I saw that.
So I was like, what the fuck is this? So I was quite hot. And no, Kenny didn't get sucked into the engine. His face got smashed by the propellers. And that was expendable too. Yeah. That was Scott Adkins, by the way, your boy. He's the one that was on the receiving ends of that. So
who's Scott Adkins?
Oh, I'm talking about Kenya's boy. But Scott Adkins is a really fucking badass martial artist and actor.
Oh, that's right. I know. I recognize him. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, Statham sent his ass through the propeller, and that was it. All right. I don't have shit for out there in the world. Not much shit has gone on.
Well, tell us about COVID number 3.
Oh yeah. Well, outside of my COVID shit.
Yeah.
So it's again, this is the end of Pride Month, and this happens directly on Pride weekend, where the celebration's happening, everything. So I'm like, yes, here we go. It's about to be lit and fun, all this shit. Yay, gay. So I'm waking up and like I could just feel like something is wrong. I'm like, this doesn't feel good. Like my head is killing me, and like my fucking body just feels off. Like I wasn't to the point of like, oh my God, I'm dying, but I'm just like, this doesn't feel good, and it's persisting. So I'm just like, I don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
And then the night before, I had a temperature of like 100. So I'm like, okay, because like that's not necessarily fever. It's like 104 ish is when you start getting to that territory. But I'm like 100. I'm like, why? I'm like, okay. Then it goes to like 101. I'm like, what's happening? Am I hot? And what's been going on here is this fucking apartment has been feeling like goddamn Amistad. Like I feel like I'm in hell. I'll just be sitting here and just start sweating. So I'm just like, I'm just thinking maybe my body's just fucking running hot or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I wake up and then it's the body shit. So I'm like, what the fuck is happening? So I'm like, and it's one of those where like you think you know, but you want to be in so much denial because what your weekend is about to consistent. So I'm like, maybe if I just fucking ignore it, it'll go away. It won't be a thing. Yada yada yada. But of course, I had to be fucking good Samaritan. In the back of my head, I'm like, John, don't do it. Don't
kill off the whole
community. Yes. So it's like, go get tested. I'm like, fuck. So I go, I do the whole thing, and then they make you wait outside. I took the rapid. I took both, but it's like you have to wait outside for the rapid. So I'm okay, fine. The minute the dude came outside, I knew I had it. Because he came outside like I had the fucking plague. He's like, John? I was like, yeah. And he's just like, I was like, okay, well, got it. So I opened that bitch up. Right.
Tell me I have COVID without telling me I have COVID.
Facts.
So fucking
Jesus, you asshole. Real bedside manner, huh? So then, and I was fucked. I was like, God damn it. I text everybody. I was like, well, have fun. My pride is fucked. I have COVID. Lucky me. And so my friends were literally like, fuck it. Come out. Who cares? Everyone's fucking vaxxed. They should be fine. Like, bitch, I'm vaxxed.
Right.
That's the fucking
shit's worn off by now.
Right. So I'm just like, right. I'm pretty sure. So I have to get boosted up again. Which apparently I'm supposed to be fine since I just had it, but I still want to get boosted again.
Right. I hear you.
But the overall experience wasn't bad. Like I said, just a couple of instances of like, wow, I feel hot, and then body aches, but that was really it.
Yeah, that's good.
Nothing crazy, thankfully. And I hit my doctors up. I'm like, so I have COVID. So y'all want to send me that pill shit or what? Haven't heard back from a damn soul till this day still.
Wow.
Because it was also the weekend, so I'm pretty sure like there's nothing they could have done.
Right.
But at least like that Monday, what if I was still like fucked? Like you're not gonna give me shit?
I mean, you were not feeling good Tuesday because we couldn't have. I mean, you were like, "Hey, man, this ain't gonna happen."
So I'm just like, okay, buddy, this is whatever. Yeah, so I just rode the shit out, and then and then literally that next day, I got retested again because I was supposed to be when that what am I trying to say? I'm going stupid. What's the word? Quarantine ended, and then I got tested again, and it was like, yeah, you're good. So I'm like, fuck. So that's pretty much it. My body still feels weird, comes and goes, or I don't know if it's just a mental thing at this point. But yeah, it's pretty much about it, honestly.
Gotcha.
Yeah, man. Okay. So, and yes, I'll see your things, Kenya. We'll talk about that really quick at the end of the show. All right. So, well, unless you have anything else.
Let me just go. I'll talk about Elvis real quick. I saw Elvis.
That motherfucker.
Movie's fine. The guy that plays him is fantastic.
I've heard.
He's really damn good. The movie itself is fine. Way too, like, probably an hour too long.
Oh, it's Baz Luhrmann.
And I never need to watch it again. Like, period. Never need to watch it again. But it is worth watching for that performance. They lean heavily into the fact that basically all of his big hits are from stealing it from black people.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, that's a massive part.
Wow.
Like that's
make it shock.
They make it to where it's like celebrating them, But he's because like at one point, oh god, now I can't remember the guy's name. There was a famous black singer that he's like buddies with, and he ends up like telling him because he's hanging out with this guy, and there's a young black kid in this pub thing that's singing the fuck out of this brand new song that this kid just wrote, and Elvis is like, I want that guy. I want him to come with me. Like I want to, because he came back home to visit, and he's like, I want to bring him with me. I want him to open for me, all that kind of stuff. And the main guy's like, no. He goes, if you play that song, it'll be 1,000 times bigger than that kid could ever be. And he's like, take the song, because that kid's going to go nowhere, even though he's incredible. And so, a little weird because you don't know if that conversation was really had, type of thing.
I highly doubt it.
But like one of his main songs is something he heard in a like a risque like dance club thing, because he grew up in the slums, and there's like a crappy, like they shut the door and they're like grinding on each other, and there's one black guy playing blues, and like one of Elvis's big songs is that song. So like saying he stole it from that guy because he's just, you know, playing his heart out, playing the blues. But
so they kind of Greatest Showman it a little bit, where Greatest Showman completely ignored it, but this one's had it, but was like, we're just gonna sugarcoat it.
Right. Because what's the woman's name? Hound Dog.
I forget her name,
but she's in it.
Ain't nothing but a hound dog.
Yeah, I mean, she's in it, sings the song, and he like says, he's like, I want to do a cover of that song, and they're like, yeah, great, do a cover of that song, like, because they look at it and say, we want to get our culture out there, and it's kind of a weird thing because basically they accept him as like a white kid that grew up in the black neighborhood, so he's kind of black for us.
Told you do that shit.
And so, you know, but he's like, I want to do a cover of that. I'm going to do a cover of that song. And so, yeah, I mean, it was interesting, though. That I was surprised they did that.
I'm surprised nobody sued. Is the family, is like the estate involved at all in that movie?
Fuck, no idea. I think I want to say so, but because they wouldn't have allowed it to happen. But I think I remember the guy's fucking name.
You're not a hound dog.
Quincy Jones. Is that it?
Quincy Jones? Like the Quincy Jones? I don't know if that's necessarily
I mean, he's not in it.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I don't think that necessarily.
Like the real guy's not in it, but somebody plays him in it. So that's the thing. I don't know, but yeah, that might be it. I'd have to do more research and try to remember. But yeah, movie is not bad. Tom Hanks is a character and a fucking half.
I'm sure I've heard.
He's pretty bad, but
ridiculous.
But the main kid does a great. Like I saw him in Austin. That, and now I'm like, fucking bring on Dune. Give him a bunch of stuff because that kid can act like crazy, man. Like really damn good. The movie's just weird because it doesn't follow a 3-act structure really. It just kind of goes through his life, and so it's kind of weird because you're sitting there going like, God damn, this is a whole ending, and it's just really like the end of that little story that they're telling, and then they're just continuing on. There's another hour and a half left, and you're like, fuck. So yeah, I never need to see it again, but his performance is pretty good.
That's the most thing I'm hearing out of it is Austin's performance more than anything. Which is like, it's fine, but I just don't care. Like, great to look at, homie, but I give a fuck about Elvis. Yeah. So I'll catch you in the next thing. So I'll catch you in the next thing, brother. And we'll take it from there. And
like, I did learn some shit though about him that I did not know, because like the whole thing is Tom Hanks is his manager or whatever, and his name is Colonel something, and he ends up he's not even a real colonel. He's been lying about this his whole life. He's not a citizen, and so because of that, he never lets Elvis do international touring. Elvis never left the country in his whole career because manager basically blackmailed him at every turn to say, no, you can't go international. You need to stay here. And so he locks him down in Vegas for like the last 20 years of his career or something crazy like that. It's because he can't leave the country. And he's like, if you go international, you'll find out that this kind of stuff. So it's super fucking weird. And realizing Elvis like never got to go tour anywhere else. Like he just did US tours over and over and over again, which is wild.
That is kind of wild, actually. But all right then. Well, y'all, be that as it may, make up your own mind. If you want to go see Elvis, go tear it up. If you want to skip it. But now you know what to expect. We shall see. It's still gonna be a skip for me, but we'll see. Maybe one day if I'm like when it comes on streaming for free, I'm like drunk or bored, I'm like, let's check it out.
Yeah, that's definitely when it's worth it.
Yeah. All right. So that's gonna do it for out there in the world. You feel like there's anything that we've missed, please feel free to let it be known in the live chat and or the comment section below if you're watching this here on playback. We appreciate you so much. All right. So, like I said, not a lot to talk about tonight. We're just going to be doing a lot of catching up on some shows. Two to be particular. One, we could just lump both of them into one. We don't have to go separate, like whatever. Just talk about it as a whole. But let's start off with the finale of Obi-Wan. So, Obi-Wan gave its finale. God, when was that? 2 weeks ago, right? Yeah, 2 weeks ago. Yeah. And we finally, what took 6 episodes to get to, got to the heart of the story containing the most 2 important fucking characters we cared to see this entire series. Literally, they pulled yet another Last Jedi. Hey, the remaining hope, whatever we got, is trapped in this little ass ship with the fucking Empire behind us, trying to shoot us out the fucking space continuum, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Basically, all it fucking was. And Obi-Wan's like, hey, fuck it. He wants me. Save your lives. I'm going to go face him. Cool. That's literally what happens. And then we get the fight of fights. And then Leia finally gets her ass fucking dropped off. And then Obi-Wan gets to go about his life, meets Luke, finally sees fucking Qui-Gon, which was awesome, for 2 seconds, and then walks off. That's the finale. So, for me, this episode was okay, but amazing when it was Obi and Darth. Sure. I'm like fucking Jesus, like this is what I wanted. Because everything was just like, okay, fine. But we got to them, and you felt the entire history. You felt the feels. You felt the confliction. You felt the apologies, the guilt, the everything. One, the fight was pretty damn dope. I fucking loved it. It was awesome, greatly choreographed, a lot of force wielding, air bending shit, which was I was like, oh, it's pretty cool. And then we finally see it. He gets his face fucking helmet cracked again, and him and Obi talk. It's like, listen, homie, I'm sorry. Oh my God, for all of it, cries, emotion. Anakin owns up to some of his shit, and then goes immediately back to the dark side. I was like, yeah, you didn't kill this motherfucker. You didn't kill Anakin Skywalker. I did. Sorry, don't worry about it. You know, you're not my failure. Keep going, but I'm about to whoop your ass. Thanks for that. And then he leaves him on his own because Obi-Wan finally realizes, hey, the dude I knew is gone. I have no choice but to move the fuck on. And that's what he does. And Obi-Wan and Anakin screams in rage. That was literally the most important thing of the episode. Yeah. And like I said, Leia getting dropped off, sure.
Finally.
Fucking finally. I'm like, dear God. And the appearance of Qui-Gon, which immediately was just like, oh my God, everything inside of me. I don't care what it was just great seeing him again. It was cool, even just for a second.
I disagree. It's fucking horrible.
I'm sure. What did you think?
I mean, to be honest, like, I think this is a great show for people that don't know Star Wars at all. like legitimately they don't know shit. Because at the end of the day, Obi-Wan sacrifices himself. He's like, hey, he'll follow me. Y'all will be safe. It'll all be good. When in reality, that's so against the whole point of his mission, which is saving and keeping Luke Skywalker alive. And he's just like, I'm going to go die. This guy's already kicked my ass once. I'm going to go die, and I'm just going to hope that shit works out for no reason whatsoever. And so I hate that. I also hate that they, like, basically they copied what Darth Vader versus Ahsoka is, with splitting his helmet. It's where you can see one eye. Takes a lot away from that, because that was fucking beautifully done in Rebels. And now everybody's just going to think of this, and it's just like, hey, they kind of stole that shit from something that's going to happen again now, because this takes place probably before that. I don't know. But I also hate that he says, you know, you didn't kill Anakin, I did, because in episode 3, he tells him, you created me. So that was something that my cousin brought up. So
I understand that part, but I also think that was probably, I get it, I won't argue that, of like, if that's the case, but this could be me writing it, but I also think that he was just vengeful in a sense of fucking, all I see is hate. I think seeing that in the moment with Obi-Wan saying what he's doing, he kind of had that moment of like clarity and acceptance of like, no, it actually was me who fucked my shit up.
Well, if anything, I saw it as him saying, hey, bitch, I'm the bad one. Like, I made this guy. Like, don't take me, like, basically, like, he sees himself as an accomplishment. And so he's like, you didn't make me. It's like, I made this. And but it's still just funny because the whole thing is he's screaming at him saying, you caused this. And just a little bit earlier, and now he's switching it up there. So yeah, I mean, I thought it was fine. And then yeah, the Qui-Gon shit was such a fucking waste. Like, literally, he was on set for 5 minutes to say shit that makes no sense, doesn't matter at all. Like, that's what the fuck this guy comes back for. He doesn't help him at all with his training. He makes him go out there. Hopefully he's going to die. Oh, he didn't die? Hey, go ahead and follow me. I'll just show you we're going.
I didn't expect a lot from Qui-Gon. I got exactly what I expected, honestly.
Well, I expected a moment where Obi-Wan is looking for Qui-Gon and needing help, not after everything's resolved, and then he shows up to say some shit that doesn't matter. Like, give me a heartfelt moment between your fallen master and yourself. Like, you still need training. And instead he's just like, oh, what's up, man? So yeah, I fucking hated that. I hated that the whole point is he's like, no matter what, this ends today. Like, I'm gonna end him when Obi-Wan's leaving, and then
he dies or I do.
Yeah, and then he just fucking Obi-Wan Kenobi is the full fucking reason why all of Alderaan's dead and all the shit from the original trilogy, because he didn't fucking kill Darth Vader when he had the chance. He walked off and let this motherfucker rise to even more power and kill him and everybody else he's ever fucking known, because he doesn't want to finish the job that he just told everybody he's going to finish. All those people are probably dead because he fucking lied. Darth Vader's going to eventually show up and kill all of them because they're part of the rebellion. Like, it's the weirdest. I don't know who the fuck wrote this show, but they have not seen any of the other fucking movies. Like, they just like got like, hey, what's some lines that we can bring back from the other ones? But I don't want to watch it. Just give me like a cheat sheet. And they're like, oh, we got you, man. And like, then they just wrote the show like that. It's absolutely ridiculous. This is the worst. Like, Book of Boba Fett is a worse show.
Oh, I'm gonna say, don't you dare say it.
But I would rather watch Book of Boba Fett 10 times more than I'd ever watch this again. Because Book of Boba Fett did not ruin a character that I love. did not ruin the greatest villain in cinematic history that I love. Boba Fett's
At least they're doing badass shit while they're being ruined.
Doesn't matter whatsoever.
Bobby Brown.
I don't give a fuck.
Boba Fett is fucking
because
dope. Fuck that. I'd rather be entertained than watch that piece of shit again.
It's not entertaining though, because I know the outcome. They're both gonna live. And so the point is, tell me a story in that makes me understand why this was necessary. And you're gonna tell me that, first of all, he's able to just beat the fuck out of Vader now.
And Boba Fett did.
Boba Fett ruined.
He's beginning to believe.
Boba Fett wasn't a character. Nobody gave a fuck about him. He was nobody.
That's
and
not
they
true.
just. What did he do before that?
Boba Fett.
What did he do before that?
That man is the most famous 5-minute.
That's my point. He's
ever.
5 minutes.
Yes, but we can't say nobody doesn't love him. People are obsessed with Boba Fett.
Compared to Obi-Wan Kenobi, John.
No, but I'm
saying
then
shut the fuck up.
There's no comparing. It's the same
exactly.
fucking thing. People love it.
There's no comparing between those two. It's the most beloved character in Star Wars and the biggest villain in cinematic history versus Boba Fett. No, it is not comparable whatsoever, because one is a side character that was given a show that wasn't necessary, and one is a lead character and the greatest villain of all time given a show, and it ruins them. And it was unnecessary.
Both are ruined. Both are fucking loved. It doesn't matter what level it is to you. People still love them. They're both ruined. But we can't say, fucking this and that. People are obsessed with that man for being on screen
Boba Fett being ruined.
No, I can see it doesn't hurt as much, but it's still
being ruined.
Right, for you.
It's not
I'm not saying that's not you, but that's for you. People are fucking obsessed with him more than Obi-Wan. People fucking love Boba Fett.
I disagree. I don't think there's really anybody that's as obsessed as with Boba Fett as there is with Obi-Wan. Just period. I don't think it's a thing, because there's not enough of them.
It's not true. But
Obi-Wan had 4 movies.
Right, and that motherfucker has 5 minutes, and people are fucking obsessed with him.
They're obsessed with the mystery of him. They're not obsessed with him as character.
Right, so it's like, hey, we're gonna find out more about this fucker. Nope, he fucking sucks.
Yeah, that's correct. And Obi-Wan sucks more than him as a character. This show ruined him. It's fucking ridiculous, and I'm really I'm getting so frustrated with Disney. I'm actually becoming that guy, because I'm enjoying Miss Marvel. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But I don't know who's running this shit anymore, because I do not know how Obi-Wan was made. When I saw Boba Fett, I was like, it makes sense. They gave that to Robert Rodriguez because they were all focused on Obi-Wan. It was literally the same reason why I think Captain Marvel sucks so bad, is because they were making Infinity War and Endgame, and they all were looking at that. And Captain Marvel was kind of being made in the background. Nobody cared. Just introduce her. We'll get it done. And now I'm starting to see that I think that this is just a trend now. They don't know how to make quality content anymore. They don't know how to do good stories. What ruined the character of Obi-Wan for you? He abandons Luke Skywalker. For fucking weeks. And then at the very end, we haven't even talked about that. He has to go and save him anyway.
Oh, shit. I forgot about that bitch.
Exactly.
Reva, what's her name? Reva?
Yeah.
Had a heart. I was like, I'm becoming what I hate the most, yada, yada, yada. And now she's wandering off in the desert doing whatever. We had to close to her story. She had to fight Owen and Boba, Beep Boop, whatever the fuck her name was. Excuse me. Which I was like,
why did she want to kill Luke?
Makes no goddamn sense.
She had a heart-to-heart with Obi-Wan.
Right, do that some other, but don't go. The whole time I'm like, what's the point here? What's the end game? Why are you doing this? And she's asked, why are you doing this? Justice. Yeah. How is this going? Huh?
Correct. It is literally, they needed people to go, hey, Obi-Wan has forgotten about Luke for weeks. We need to show that he will do whatever it takes to save him. And they're like, all right, make Reva go try to kill him.
Right.
You know, it's like, but that doesn't make sense. They just had a heart-to-heart, and she is going to try to kill Darth Vader and possibly die from it. And they're like, nah, make her live so she can go. So Obi-Wan has to do something. It's like, no, like, who the fuck wrote this? Like, I can't believe this show's a thing. It's easily one of the biggest disappointments I've had in a long time. Because, like, I know this isn't the case for you, but basically Book of Boba Fett has ruined Mando for me too. I'm not excited for that almost at all. I was excited for him as a character to be on his own, and now he's not. Ahsoka, I'm guessing, is just going to be, I'm hoping, a Rebel sequel. And if that's the case, great. But I swear to God, if they somehow make this thing, if they bring Luke into it, it's already ruined. Like, it's fucking bad. Because Luke can find Ezra in 10 seconds. Like, it's how he found Grogu. And the whole point is they're trying to find Ezra, and Luke can do it.
Well, apparently nobody can find Ezra right now, so I don't know.
I mean, there's no other Jedi.
I'm being stupid. I'm talking about Ezra Miller.
Oh God, no! You can find him. Just find somebody laid out. You'll look up the blog.
All right. But yeah, I don't know. Obviously, like I said, I don't feel as you do, but I'm not going to argue. I understand. I'm not there yet in terms of Mando. In terms of Disney shows, well, Star Wars Disney shows, it's worrying me. It's worrying because now we're back to back, where it's just like, So yeah. I'm getting there. So I don't know. And again, I give two shits about Andor. Right. And my next thing is Ahsoka and Mando. Those are the two I'm like excited for. But Andor, I give no shits. Probably not gonna watch it. Won't lie. But we'll see. And if that's a show that's ass, that won't hurt me because I don't give a fuck. Right. But it'll still obviously continue a trend.
I'm scared that it'll be, which you liked Black Widow, but I'm scared it'll be Black Widow where whole point is it's a prequel to a character that's dead. Do I care? I mean, I don't know if I care enough about this character.
Well, eliminates all stakes, like you said.
Yeah. I mean, so it's tough, but yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny because if anything, this is obviously Disney, and then you go down to Lucasfilm and Marvel. When it comes to Star Wars, all we've had is shows, and they're starting to drop the ball. Like you said, we've had two big stinkers in a row. And then when you go to Marvel, their shows have been enjoyable as hell, and their movies are very wishy-washy. I mean, they're struggling with their movies, and so I'm worried about the whole shebang. I'm very scared that in 2 days I'm gonna be walking out of a theater saying I don't trust Feige anymore. Like, can't trust him because Doctor Strange is not a great movie, period. I don't care if you're all about the style of this. Watch it as a movie, and it's not a good movie. It can be exciting. You can have points of enjoyment, all that shit. I don't care about that. I care about it being a good movie, and it's not. And then go up the list. We've had Shang-Chi, and we've had Spider-Man No Way Home. Out of all the other movies, those are the only two they're like, those are good movies.
Yeah, those are definitely the strongest out of Phase 4 right now.
I mean, I'm really worried this week. Really fucking worried. But we'll see what happens. I don't know if you watch JVS's review or not.
No, I'm not watching shit until after I've seen the movie.
Yeah, I recommend that.
But I was having this conversation with Kenya earlier on Twitter and JVS to some degree. That normally I don't watch this shits anyway before I've seen something. But this is a movie that is just unequivocally just biasly hated on before a single frame is seen, just because a lot of people don't love Ragnarok and expect the same. She was like, I expect this shit to fucking suck. So I'm like, I don't want to see any influence. So I'm just like, I'm just gonna go in and watch it for myself. Because some shit I come across, I'm like, that's really nitpicky. And I see some really, obviously,
okay,
that makes sense. But I'm like, no, I'm just gonna
good for you.
Watch it and then see,
I feel really bad for you that you think there's people that are biased against this movie.
Was even seen? Yes, we was talking about. I was like, that's
but we're going off of a trend of like, if Sam Raimi got greenlit for the next Doctor Strange, you would be upset. Look at that little smirk on your face. Try to talk shit. I mean,
we'll be upset.
So we didn't like Ragnarok. We thought that it ruined the character of Thor in a lot of ways. And so for that guy to get a sequel and then double down, his words, I mean, it's that much crazier. We're worried. We're worried people because we care about the character and we feel like
that's fair. Touche.
So, I mean, I wouldn't call you can call it bias, but it's bias because we're worried for something that we care about. But yeah, so I'm very interested. See it Thursday. I'll see it with Walker, with Kenya. It'll be an event, to say the least.
Ouch. It shall. I mean, I obviously go in and don't expect to like it as much as Ragnarok, but that I expect, but who knows? We'll see. 2 days we shall tell, like you say.
Yes, sir.
All right. So, that was Obi-Wan. Sorry, I was cracking my shit.
You're all right.
No, I'm getting old. So yeah,
that reminds me. Actually, I went bowling on Friday.
I miss bowling.
I'm still fucking sore. I have not been bowling in like 4 or 5 years. My ass and my forearm are like fucked, man. And then Walker was with us, which Walker does bowl like I've never seen somebody bowl in my life. Like he literally sidearm throws a fucking bowling ball. He was throwing an 8-pound ball, dangerous. 19.87 miles an hour towards those fucking pins. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen. Jesus. And I went to his house the next day and swam. And I was like, "How's your arm?" And he's like, "I'm good." And Hannah and I are like, "We are dying. Like our arms and air, like we're so sore." And he's like, "Oh, I'm good." So like, what it is?
He got that youth to him, right?
I know, man. Fuck.
You gotta feel shit.
But
you get hit by a bus and walk it off. Like, I'm all right. It's like, God damn.
But
well, Kenya, we know your big ass can bowl.
Kenya's got his own ball.
I'm sure.
I invited him, and it was funny because I told him, I was like, should I invite him because he's good at bowling? And she was like, yeah, like it'll just be us playing against each other, and then he can beat us. And I was like, okay, that's a good idea.
Big motherfucker put a hole in the back of the wall.
I mean,
sure.
Kenya, I gotta ask, what poundage is your ball? I gotta know that.
He's usually large, I'm sure.
But yeah, so it was really fun though. I had a blast, but oh my god, I'm still like my forearm. Randomly, I'll be doing something, and I'm like, oh fuck me, man. It's tough out here.
Yeah, it's rough. Usually, when I go with like friends and stuff like that, I'm usually like the best out of everyone. But that's still like, this shit fucking sucks the next day. And it's always funny because at least one person out of every fucking experience that I go to almost murder somebody by flinging the ball backwards when they swing to fucking do it. I'm like, dear God.
No, we were on lane 1, and this was the first time I went to a bowling alley that the balls were like greased, if that makes sense. Like they were super slippery. And I'd never had that before. I've always gone to the cheap one where they're just like, these balls are from 1983, and you know they had grease on them one day. But we played 6 games in 2 hours, so we played a lot. And at the very end, Hannah was like, "All right, this one's gonna be the stupid one." It was the last game, and so she was like, "Do it two-handed." And I walked up to do it two-handed, and it slipped, and I threw it straight in between the wall and the lane, and it went all the way down and like stuck next to her next to the pins, but it was out of it. So I just had to grab another ball and throw it because I didn't count. It was so funny.
I tell you one thing, and it's the most randomest fucking secret ever, but it works.
What you got?
The fucking Fred Flintstone. That shit works every goddamn time.
I'm just remembering tippy toes.
Exactly. Hit
Oh,
them
really?
shits on the fucking tippy toes and just fucking let it go. Every time. It's fucking great.
See, do you do a curve?
I still don't know how to fucking curve.
Okay, see me either.
I don't know how to do that shit. Because people be bowling this motherfucker like it's wanted. I have no idea how you do that shit. I'm like, all right, fine.
So I'll tell you my secret quote that put quotes on that. First of all, it took me 3 games to remember the secret because it's been that long since I was ass, and it was so funny because Hannah won the first game, and I think she had like 93 points or something like that, and she won. She kicked both of our asses because she went bowling 2 weeks ago. And first of all, first frame she kept bumpers on for herself. And used not even first frame for a few frames, and she's using those things to the fucking max. And then she wants to talk shit when she wins, and I was like, take those fucking bumpers off, and I'm gonna get good here real quick, because like her and I both are real competitive. And it took me like 3 games to remember, but I finally remembered because I'm looking at the pins, I'm throwing it, and it's going straight in the gutter, and I'm like, God damn it, man! Like, what the fuck am I doing? And I finally remembered my secret. And my secret is, like 10 feet in front of you on the lane are those the diamond arrows that go out. Look at those, aim at the middle arrow, and possibly strike like right to like a little bit to the right of it to try to get around that pin. And I bowl it straight, but I'm looking right there. My point of what I'm aiming at is a lot closer, and it keeps that straight line. And I think I ended up like one of my games, I had like 150 points. Like I was,
is that the curve or just to be a badass?
No, just it's straight ball. I'm aiming it right at the center little diamond.
I never not look at that shit ever.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
And so I was sitting there trying to remember why I suck so bad, and I was like, what the fuck is my secret? And I was like, that's it. I was like, everybody wants to look at the pins. I was like, no, look right close and aim for that fucker.
Oh yeah.
And it'll keep the lane, like the line that
for that, and fucking flick that wrist like a fucking. Just let it go.
Yeah, see, fuck that spin shit though, man. I'm gonna fuck my wrist up.
Yeah, because you got to do that flick of the wrist. Because if you fucking hold your wrist, cause a lot of times they just hold that shit stiff and just go. Like, no,
that's what I was doing, and it fucked me up, man.
That shit has to like fucking whoop, and then I was like, oh god. But anywho,
so we went off a little bit. Sorry.
No, it's fine. So hopefully when I come up there, we definitely gotta do bowling next.
Okay, got you.
And can you bring your big ass? All right, all right, because I want to see what this is about. Damn it. Okay, so enough of Obi-Wan. Thank you for your service.
Fuck you, Obi-Wan.
Speaking of Marvel, we have Miss Marvel. Had episodes 3 and 4. I'm not gonna hold you. It's all become one thing for me. I don't remember which episode is which, other than the last one, where she meets the daggers and all that good stuff.
Right.
Episode 3, the wedding. Okay.
Yeah, they were dancing, and then they came and crashed it, pulled the fire alarm, all that jazz.
Yes, and we had a little kind of superhero fight type of thing, and they got captured.
That big punch.
Yeah. Finally got the big ass fist. I can't remember anything. Her friend found out who she was.
Right.
What else? Grandma called. I was like, "Hey, bitch, you see the train?" She's like, "What?"
Yeah.
It's like I have no idea what you're talking about.
Shit?
Right. So that episode was cool. For what I remember.
I thought that episode was great. The bad people got arrested.
Yes.
At the end of that.
So we find out more into it that they're Jinn. And they come from a celestial universe or dimension, which I forget because the names kill me.
I don't know.
Like, huh? Who's done that? Where her great grandmother was from?
Yeah.
During their escape, I forgot what did they call it? Something with a P.
I know. I can't remember.
They call that event.
Oh. Shit.
Oh, I forgot. Basically, when her family was trying to escape when her grandmother was a little girl.
Yeah.
Fuck, yeah. And her shit was held in by the 10 rings, had possession of the bracelet. One was found eons ago. Oh, yes, there you go. So we got a little bit of history with that, which was cool. Like the episode, still, like I said, everything's still going strong. She found a boy that she was like, oh my god, he's so cute and handsome. That episode 3? Still,
No,
right?
that was 2.
That was 2 when she first met him. Yes, when she first met him. Yeah,
because he came and saved her at the wedding.
Right. Yes. Okay. Never mind. Sorry, I lied. Well, he came and saved her. It's like, hey, my whole family is about to try to come and fuck your shit up. We need to go. Yeah. Mom and then blame him for destroying the wedding. All that good shit. Cool episode. What did you think about that before we get into 4?
I thought episode 3 was great. Like what the show's done is I care about all the characters so much
greatly
that even the 5-minute wedding dancing scene, I had a smile ear to ear because like it's funny and it's also like embarrassing. Like it's this thing of realizing like this is cringy, but this is the culture, and like even the little white boy's in there, and he's having fun with it.
And like what the fuck? Like this rhythm is horrible, bro.
But yeah, I mean, I dug it. I had a bunch of fun with it, and it was also a thing of comparing it to Obi-Wan. Like I remember in that episode when she's surrounded by the Jinn people, and then the Department of Damage Control busts in, and they just kind of hide and push the main bad girl in the way and like go hide in the corner, and the Damage Control people like completely miss them, and it's dumb. Like they are able to just get away while those people are they're like 5 feet from them, and they're able to sneak out a door.
Yeah.
But the thing is, that is the tone of the show. Like that makes sense for the show. Whereas for Obi-Wan, I can't cut that slack because this is Obi-Wan Kenobi, kind of thing. So it's a weird, like that's something that filmmakers and showmakers have to understand the world that they're in. And that's true to its world. That happening in the Marvels doesn't work because that's a movie and it's led by a literal god, basically. So like that needs higher stakes. Can't have just some random soldiers that didn't make it into the FBI, come around and missing some bright, some girl in a bright shirt. Right.
So I was gonna say the Jinn, are they like super powered and craziness or whatever, or do they just really good at fighting?
No, so they have.
So they keep getting their ass kicked by humans a lot.
Whatever Miss Marvel has that was activated by the bracelet, they have inside of them, but it's much more weak.
Okay.
And so that's how, like, when we get to the next one, the main dagger kid's like, I sensed something in the Jinn in you, or whatever he called it. Like he sensed that power. But they all have it because, like, in that, I think it's in the kitchen in the third scene, one of them punches the ground and like breaks the concrete. So like they're somewhat powerful, but also they're still human at the same time. So like they could die as well.
Like, I was trying to figure out because like these DODs will keep kicking the shit out of them, and they're just being taken. I'm like, oh, okay. So yes, we have that. We have episode 4. They go home. And home is in like the country or stuff like that, to see grandma, because grandma's like, hey, listen, I see the shit. It's time for you to know what's going on. Tells the story of her mom and this and that. She runs into the Red Dagger, which I forgot he was in this show too, Aramis Knight or whatever, who was good in the show Into the Badlands.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So I was like, oh shit, I forgot he was in it. So him and his badass fucking leader dude was like, hey, we're gonna teach you everything you need to know about where you come from and what you hold. So like I said, there's something in them that the bracelet kind of enhances due to the celestial dimension of people. I forgot what they're called again. But basically what the rogue Jinns want to do is basically terraform this place into their world, basically, which is not good. So they come. There's a whole fucking fight in the middle of the streets. of India, and just fucking pretty badass fight scenes. Actually, like I like what they're doing, how they utilize her powers, because she's getting a little bit more comfortable in how to use them. In many different useful ways. Red Dagger is badass. His master was cool, or his boss, whatever the fuck you want to call him. What else happened? That was all it, really. Right?
I mean, Master dies.
Yeah, well, Master gets fucked up. Sacrifices himself for them. And what happened at the end? What I feel like wasn't there like a?
She goes to the flashback to the partition.
Yes, she's stuck. She's there. Well, not stuck, but she's there.
So we'll see what that's about.
We shall. And what episode is 5? It's coming up, right?
Yeah.
And there's 6.
Yeah.
God damn. Everything's fucking ending. Everything's so quick. Because The Boys has a finale this fucking weekend too. I'm like, Jesus.
Oh, really?
Yes. I'm like, already. So I really like this episode. Obviously, like I said, it was really cool. I dug it. The main chick, dude, she is just unridiculously just lovable.
Yeah, she's so good.
She's so good. The mom, her mom and her grandma have a moment, which was really nice. You can kind of see where she's starting to get like the resentment for things of kind of like, hey, Kamala, this is why such and such, because what I've been through, and which I really liked. It adds more layers to her than just like like and stuff like that. So yeah, what did you think?
Yeah, I thought this episode was terrible. Like this episode's really bad. This is the stinker. For sure. This director, as soon as it ended, I was like, who the fuck directed this? Because they haven't directed any of these yet. And that is correct. This is the first of 2 episodes that they're directing. So I'm hoping they also direct 5. And the finale kind of gets saved, because I thought this episode was a massive step down from what we've been getting. It seemed like this director didn't know how to direct any action. I mean, it was edited weird. It felt like we were missing giant chunks of story. Because I mean, she's fighting this dagger guy, and then all of a sudden they're friends and making jokes, and I feel like I missed a full like 5-minute conversation there. And then he just takes her to her boss guy, and they're all just cool. And it's like, why the fuck would you trust them? Just like you shouldn't have trusted the clandestines, the Jinn people. Like, it's the same thing. Like, why are you all of a sudden just walking in there? And then they act like they're gonna train, and she literally turns her powers on one time, and they're just like, oh, cool. And that was it. They're like, you want to eat? And it was like, what the fuck? Like, this episode is really bad for me. At the end of the day, the characters I still like. Like, I still obviously love Kamala. She's great. I like the grandma. The mom, you kind of get to see how, like you were saying, you know, the mom went through some shit because her grandma was crazy.
Right.
And that's why she's in, you know, America, and kind of ran away from that. And so you kind of see that kind of stuff. And because also, even just to the point of, you know, episode 3 ends and the clandestines get arrested, and then episode 4 starts, we're on a plane to Pakistan. Then we go to the clandestines, they break out, and immediately they're in Pakistan. And it's like, hey, my guys, like, y'all were, it's been like half a day and y'all are now in Pakistan.
There's a Jinn teleporting powers.
No, they just caught a spirit flight. I mean, like, they sat in some tiny seats going all the way over there. It was fucking horrible. That's why they're so upset. Right. Sweating and shit because the AC's probably out on that bitch.
And that fucking auntie or great whoever she is, great grandmama's best friend or ex-best friend, whatever, she has a very unique face.
Yes, I agree. Especially like because she gets that sweat, like she gets like a layer of sweat, and then you can see it's exactly what I was saying when she first got introduced. Is like she could play good or she could play fucking batshit crazy, and they let those dark circles come out.
Oh, like,
yeah. And you're like, oh, this bitch crazy.
And they love shooting her like here. Because like all the angles, bitch. Yeah. It's like, oh, shit.
Yeah, she's just upset, man. She leaves her kid in the U.S., so we'll see what happens with that.
That's right. She left with that. She's like, "Yeah, you're not one of us anymore. Sorry, homie."
Yeah, so obviously, I don't know, but is he just not gonna? I mean, is the finale gonna be in Pakistan? Or are we gonna somehow make it back to the U.S. and all this?
Back to the U.S. Be there.
I don't know, but yeah, this episode was a pretty big down step for me, just directing wise. It really seemed like they kind of gave the woman that directed this like a script, and she opened it up and was like, "This is all action scenes. There's no dialogue." And they're like, "Yeah, just make it work." And like she just came up with the dialogue, and it was kind of rough, and the story we need to get from here to here, from this action scene to that one. And they're like, "Oh, let's just see what we can do." And yeah, I mean, I don't know. I was pretty let down by this, but every Disney Plus series has had a stinker episode or two.
There has to be at least one, yeah.
So that I'm if this is it, great. Let's move on. But I am nervous because the same director is coming back for one of these next 2 episodes. And even if they do come back, maybe the script's better, or maybe they saw what they did with this one and said, "Hey, let's go ahead and follow the fucking script to a T here."
I think it'll be this one that they direct, because usually it's
so.
the headlining directors that usually do like the opening and close, right?
Yeah.
To some things. So we'll see. Hopefully that's the case. I obviously didn't feel as like you did about this episode, but I'm also finding, because there's so many. Obviously, it's in a culture I'm not rooted in, so a lot of dialogue and things, remember, are heavily based in that. So I'm also trying to remember, like, okay, what's it called? What's this? What's that again? Yeah. So I find myself, after seeing an episode, like I have to watch it again just to remember everything, because I'm not going to hold on to it like that.
All the terminology and stuff. Completely. Yeah. I mean,
I'm like, shit.
In and out.
Okay. And then, like, if I forget, little recaps help, sure, but because it's one of those shows where I have to put subtitles, and I hate fucking subtitles 9 times out of 10.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, so I'm just like, okay. So
no, I don't do subtitles. I can't do subtitles. Like it makes me do that the whole time, and I don't enjoy anything I'm watching.
But see, if I just do that, I'm gonna be like, what the fuck did they say? And like, I don't want to.
I mean, the point, like for me, you don't need to know all the shit that they're saying. Like the weird words that come out of them, I'm like, okay, that's just something. Like it's
I want to get, because it's utilized in where they come from and what it is that's happening. So I'm just kind of like
not clandestine. Like that's just a word they fucking made up.
I just call them Jinn, because I know that.
Yeah.
I know the legend is Jinn. I know that.
Yeah.
So
and they're from the Nor dimension. That's right. That's what I'm seeing here.
Yes, thank you. That's what Nor.
The Nor energy is what the dagger could feel and all that kind of shit.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm hoping this next episode is from the same director. So even if, in case it is another stinker, it's not the finale, because I would much prefer to have a fantastic finale.
And she got some cloth for a soon-to-be suit.
But that was so dumb, because she took off a blue thing to be given another blue thing that had fabric from her roots. And it was like, what the fuck? She was literally wearing the same shit.
Oh, was it from the roots? I thought it was like some piece from like her people or
well, yeah, he's like this
superhero shit.
This cloth, has a bunch of history in it, kind of thing, or something. But it's not like it does anything special. I mean, because those daggers don't have any powers. They just they're just ninjas. Yeah, so I don't know. And I fucking hate. He gives her that blue. What would you call that? Vest? Like it's a sleeveless collared coat. But
that's the fabric he gives, right?
Right. Yeah. And he gives that to her, and she goes, "It's blue." And she goes, "Am I a red dagger now?" It's like, bitch, doesn't look like it to me. I mean, that looks pretty blue.
You're a blue dagger now, actually.
I mean, it's like, no, you're a Jinn, but you're a good one. So I'm going to give you some special cloth. Like, that's where I'm like, what the fuck is this show? Like, so it's just little things like that like, it was falling apart. And so I'm thinking that the script just wasn't all the way there for this one. And they were like, no, this is our action-heavy chase scene. And this person just did not know how to fucking direct. It was bad, but that's all right. Watch it again tonight if you're bored, because
I'm gonna watch after this.
Yeah, I want to know what you if you notice anything different or not. But you a Crip now, cuh.
Basically.
Oh, shit, that's funny. Yeah.
Basically.
But I'm super interested to see where this takes us with this, kind of just thrown at us. All of a sudden, we're in a different, we're in a flashback, living through it type of thing. But how long will we be in it?
Probably about a good 20 minutes, and then we'll go back.
Because, it somewhat mirrors the end of the 4th episode of Moon Knight, where that's where he dies and goes into that other world, and we get the hippo at the end of the 4th episode. So
how did she get there again? The bracelet just like did shit, or
the woman hit her the bracelet,
dagger.
Yeah, because Kamala decided for the first time in the whole episode that she's not going to use her powers to make a force field. She's just going to put the thing up, and now that thing's not fucking indestructible. Like, maybe use your powers. So that's what it's things like that. It's like they needed to get from point A to point B, B to C, C to D, and so they're like, just throw certain logic out and let's just get there, because we got a story that we need to tell and all that. That's why it's like, you're gonna get me back to the U.S. in 2 episodes, but also she should be in the U.S. because she's supposed to be in New Jersey, and like, I don't even know why we went to Pakistan, but okay, because even the grandma's like, I don't know why you need to be here, but I know you need to be here to find what you need to find. And she's like, what do I need to find? And she's like, that's for you to find. And she's like, I don't know how to find. Like, she's like, what do you mean? And like, I'm sitting there going, yeah, good question. Like, why the fuck are we on this plane? And I did see some people say,
to find the people, to find,
but
it's supposed to be training. But
I did see some people say, so grandma calls the young granddaughter and says, hey, get on a plane. And mom just is like, yeah, let's buy some tickets. And I kind of took that as, I think that's the culture, is like, no matter the age, you respect your mother. And like, it's like, even my mom and I have some issues, but like, she said we need to come, let's go ahead and buy some tickets. Like, we got to get over there and see what she needs. So I kind of took that as, I was okay with that quick jump, just because I do think, because also she has problems with her mom, and so I think she also wants to kind of get on her mom's good side a little bit more, so she would do whatever she needs to do. But I saw a lot of people, I saw a lot of people that were like, why the fuck they just get on a plane like that? Like, they weren't planning this trip. And it's like, yeah, but I don't know, how expensive are those tickets?
Mom says you jump, that's what happens,
right? I mean, that's what she demands of her daughter, so I would kind of think that she is still that way with her own.
Very true, very true. Alrighty, so, well, tonight we shall see what happens. Look forward to it, per usual.
Yes, sir.
We shall see. I don't know what to expect, but I'm along for the ride. Alright, so that's going to do it. We'll give the last few minutes to you guys, well, the few of you that are in here, just to go and see what else we might have missed. Let's see, the boys is lit. The boys is greatly fucking lit. Speaking of not the boys, but of lovely shows that you particularly have just started.
Oh, that's correct.
Yes, you are now a Stranger Thing. Sir, how are we feeling?
Okay, so I did watch the first season when it came out.
Oh, okay.
I had actually seen it. But we decided to start it over because I didn't, I remembered it generically, but obviously I didn't remember the details that I wanted to do. So I just started over. And I liked the first season way more than I remember liking it. Like, I don't know what the difference was, but I really enjoyed the first season. Second season for me was a big step down.
Fucking dog ass.
Because even like the dogs are a boring ass, like, kind of villain. Like the Demogorgon.
The demi-dogs?
Yeah, the Demogorgon was like, oh shit, that's crazy. But like the dogs, it's just like, it's little minion things. And I just wish that wasn't the case. Like the whole thing is from episode 1, we're seeing this giant fucking shadow monster thing, and it's still around at the end of it. So I'm interested to see what's up with that. But yeah, I mean, but at the end of the day, the important thing is all the characters I'm about. Will in the second season, is a big drop off because he doesn't have 11, and so they just don't really know what to do with him. My cousin, his favorite guy in the world is Steve. And
Billy Harrington.
And I thought Steve, I liked Steve a lot in the first season. And this season, it was so funny because I texted my cousin. I was like, it seems like they just have no idea what to do with Steve because they realized that Nancy and Jonathan need to get together. And so, like, we need to take Steve out of it, but he's a good actor. So how can we keep him in it? And then my cousin, like, I told him all that. I was like, it just seems like they didn't know what to do with him. So they just made him the babysitter, just whatever we can do to get him back in the show. And then he was like, oh no, Steve was originally going to die in season 1. And in season 1, when he shows back up at Will and Jonathan's house and he ends up getting the bat with the nails and fights off the Demogorgon and all that, that was supposed to be Jonathan and Will's dad that was going to come back and save the day. But they ended up not liking that idea and swapped it really quick because they liked what Joe Keery was doing with Steve. And so they kept him alive and let him be that guy. And so I was like, that makes total sense because he doesn't fit into season 2 at all. Like, he just randomly pops up and is sad and like, oh, you need some help, kid, that I don't know? I got you. Like, where do I need to take you? And I need to fight an alien? Cool. Like, let's just do it. I got you. And it's funny because, like, Walker was like, I love that about him, though. Like, he's just down to help. He wants to help. And I'm like, yeah, but that's not, like, a real person. Like, it just seems like they needed him to be there. And also, he just gets his ass beat again, just like he did in the first season. He can't fucking fight. He keeps trying to fight. And he just keeps getting... I mean, he got fucked up in this season. I was like, oh, he's concussed, whatever. And no, they just throw him in the car, and then by the time they get to the hole, he's like, all right, I'll come with you. Like, I'm leading the way, too. I don't want y'all to, get in trouble, get hurt. And it's like, okay, buddy. But I'm very excited to continue.
I will say, yes, season 1 is great. Season 2 is straight doggy ass. And like I told you, 3 and 4 are fan-fucking-tastic. Like, they're amazing. 4 is the best season.
Okay.
By far. 3 introduced us to some great characters.
Okay.
While still continuing and building off the ones we love. The only thing I will say is that the only person who's still the same is Will. Will will still continue to have nothing to be done, even until this season. It's just not.
He's just kind of a zombie.
He's just there. He's just there to keep crying, bitching, whining, and being in the way. So I'm just gonna prepare you for that. But everything else is like we get even more expansion. Obviously, the budget goes up, so the story expands, and everything. Kenya, get back to watching it, please. So you can stop going crazy and whining over non-spoiler little details I post about, motherfucker. Every time I post, I'm like, stop spoiling it. I'm like, there's literally nothing here. I'm just expressing frustration. Watch the damn show. It's been 25 years. But yeah, it's great. So continue it.
And I mean, like, one thing, I had no idea that Bob dies. So when he died, I was like, oh, fuck. That makes me sad.
Yeah, that was a rough moment. That was
especially because I was just 10 feet from Sean Astin like a couple months ago. Yeah. And I'm sitting there like, I was surprised the orchestra didn't play the Stranger Things theme, although that is TV and it was sounds of the cinema. So I was like, oh, that makes sense. And now I'm like, oh, he's dead in a season. No wonder they're not going to campaign that. Yeah. But he was great. Loved him. I still like there at the end. I was like, because Hopper's like, I'm gonna go turn the breakers on. He's like, oh, what you got out programming this, that, and I'm like, go together. Like, y'all be back in 10 minutes. Like, so quick if you just go the fuck together. Yeah. And instead, he's just like, one person could go. And it's like, oh god, whatever. But I dug what they did with 11 there. I did skip. Walker told me there's an episode when she goes off with her lost sister or whatever, and I skipped that.
One of the worst things ever in life. I'm like, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
It oh dear God.
So it was funny because he was like telling me, he was like, here's all you need to know. And at the very end he goes, and she now has a goth look. And I was like, okay. And she shows up and I was like, oh fuck. I'm like, she looks horrible. Like, Jesus. But so I did skip that episode, but I liked it there at the end. It looks like she might be able to fucking fly, which is dope because she obviously can make other things fly. I was like, I guess that makes sense. But yeah, I'm dying to keep going. We literally watched season 2 in a day, and that's with going. We went to a, July 4th party for 2 or 3 hours, and in between, and we still came back and fucking went through that shit. So, I'm digging it though. But season 1, like I really agree with Hannah because I asked her, she said season 1 she'd give like an 8.7, and then she was like, but season 2, she's like, I give it a 4. And I was like, yeah, it's boring, and like Will's doing an exorcism, and we're just all kind of just waiting around, and but I mean, I understand story wise, like you can't just like blow your load the whole time. So like having 11 away from the other kids makes sense, but like it was a boring season. So I hope they kind of figure that out.
No, it's fully fledged figured out. Like season 3 and 4, like from jump, it's like this is vastly.
I'm excited.
Fucking better.
I didn't know that you were super into it though. I would have asked you prior, but
wait, I love Stranger Things.
Yeah, but my cousin's fucking obsessed, man. He was like all over that shit. So I got to catch up now.
Yeah, I fucking love Stranger Things, and it's like, and the characters they introduce just are so fucking awesome. Just make it seem like they've been there since like season 1. It's just like it's so great. And Steve gets just like even bigger. It's just like, love Steve.
Character I couldn't stand is the Billy guy. He's completely unnecessary. So I'm hoping they give him better stuff in the future.
I will say nothing, but he has not wasted. I'll put it that.
Okay. Because I really, like, every time he was on screen, I was like, okay, what are they going to give me? Because I'm not feeling this character. And every time I'm like, I wish that we just skipped everything that we just saw. So
it's all for a reason. Trust me.
Okay.
Because I'm meant to feel that way.
Because I'm looking at him going, you got a fucking great actor. Why are we wasting this motherfucker on some dumb shit? So yeah, that's one for sure that I'm wanting to give me a reason.
It's one of those, the hate is justified for the setup and reason.
Yeah. Because
so he has to.
That was the thing too, is Hannah was she was like, why does he hate Lucas so much? And I was like, he's racist, right? I'm like, isn't that the point, is that he just doesn't like black kids? And she was like, oh, I don't know, he's never said that. And I'm like, you're right, he hasn't said that. And like an all-out racist would be like, get away from the black kid, so like I was like,
sometimes subtlety, that's all you need.
No, but there's no subtlety in stupid racist people, in real life. They're out there. They don't hide that shit if they got fucking mullets. And that's the other thing. The amount of real or fake cigarettes that are thrown on the ground in the production of Stranger Things is unfucking real, man. Like, and it's the real shit. Like in the 80s, I mean, my parents were part of it, where you smoke a cigarette, throw it on the ground, light another one, man. Like, I mean, but Jesus Christ, there's so many cigarettes. I felt like I was walking around New York City again. I was like, Jesus, I think it's crazy.
Yeah, it sounds about right. And yeah, Walker did. Yes, you can see in all caps the budget increases. Yeah.
I could see it in season 2 off the bat, even though there's still some rough ass CG in parts. But like, also you can see some big. It makes sense, obviously. Like, and that's what I liked about the first season. Because CG is bad at the first season. I mean, I'm talking fucking rough. But it's smart to where, it adds to the atmosphere and adds to this and that. But it's also, I could almost guarantee you, if it's just a coincidence and they got to take advantage of it, great. But more than likely, they said, hey, how can we hide the CG better? And they said, let's let them mess with electricity. And so, like, they're at the end of season 1 when 11's going to, turn that thing to dust in the school, and the lights are just going brrr, just flickering on and off. You don't get to really see the monster. You don't get to, because it keeps flipping on and off, and I'm like, this is a fucking nightmare to watch, but it's very smart because you're in a lit up school classroom. Like, it's like Jurassic Park. Like, there's a reason that whole movie, anytime the dinosaurs show up, it's in the fucking nighttime for the most part, because that's when they can really hide CG, and the T-Rex looks unbelievable. And the first time you see those dinosaurs is the long neck things. It looks great, but you can see that's dated. But when the T-Rex shows up, even today, you're like, God damn, that looks good. It still does. And so I was looking at that and I was like, I really like that they were smart enough, because they made it a part of the story with Will and the lights and, all that kind of stuff. And so I'm like, it's fucking genius. And I love that world that they built. Like, I'm really appreciating that.
Oh, yeah. And each season finds a new way to expand upon that. But in terms of budget, this season is like, there's money.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Sure. There's money in this.
Yeah.
Because out the get, it's just like, God damn. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Wait, are you talking about 4? Are you talking about 3?
4, yeah, 4.
Okay,
4,
yeah,
4.
that's what I thought.
Yeah, because obviously each one gets better before. It's like, yeah, bitch, we made it.
So your ranking per season is 4, 1, 3, 2?
It's tough. I wouldn't know where to place 4 and 1. For me personally, 4, 1, 3, 2.
Okay.
Yeah, 4, 1, 3, 2. And I wouldn't argue anybody that says 1 first. I would like, okay. Cool. I'm not arguing.
Because that's the only thing. I am worried that nothing's going to beat season 1, because that's kind of sad if I'm watching, 40 hours of more than 40 hours of content and the first 8 were the best. So I'm like, that's a little frustrating, but we'll just have to see what happens, because I love the characters. Like, I really do. So I'm hoping if they can really keep this, like, I really love Hopper. Like,
oh yeah, Hopper's the man.
I fucking love him. Like,
Hopper is the man.
I love, you get it in the first season a lot, because everything he's doing is because he's lost his daughter. And so he's like, I need to find this kid. And like, when they find the fake body and he's like, please don't be the kid. Please don't be like, you just feel it all the way through. And then season 2 comes along. He's got his daughter back, quote unquote. And you can see how fucking protective he is, to where it makes her run away, because he's like, I've got rules. You can't leave. You can't do this. And it's like all about her safety. And it's like, no, it's about your safety. Like, Hopper's scared to lose her again. And I just think it's really smart. Except in that second season, like, she shows back up and Mike is like, you kept her from me? And I'm expecting him to go, hey, shit's about to hit the fan. How about you calm yourself until this is over? And instead he goes, you, me, other room, we gotta talk. And I was like, the fuck, we don't got time. But it's like, I was like, what are you doing, man? So yeah, that was pretty funny. I was like, no, that's not.
Of course, he gets better and better.
Does he really?
Like,
fuck, man, I'm so
episode 3, season 3, he's fucking great.
Okay, good, because I really fucking like him. Like, he's just, because he's in this, he looks like a fucking sausage in this way too tight of an officer outfit from the 80s, but like, I just love him to death. And like, it's really a thing of like, growing up, my family, my mom, my sister, and I, at least, obsessed with the show Roseanne. I don't know if you ever watched it, but like, we can quote damn near every episode of that fucking show. Like, it's just what I grew up on. And it's so funny because David Harbour, especially in this show, looks so much like a young John Goodman. Yeah. I mean, like, holy shit. And like, the way he acts sometimes, I'm like, he's just playing young John Goodman. Like, if like, legitimately, if they made Stranger Things back then, they would have cast John Goodman as Hopper. It would have been perfect.
Have you watched any of the trailers for this new season? Or seen any of them?
Yes. I don't remember them, but I remember watching this, like, the first trailer for the new season. Not part 2 or whatever. I haven't seen any of that, but for the 4th season, I remember going like, this looks fucking great. And then I remember, it might have been Walker. I was like, he asked me and I was like, yeah, that thing looks awesome. And he was like, every season's great. And he's like, and I was like, what? I was like, I thought it felt like way off. And he was like, oh no, season 3 is awesome. And I was like, God dang it. Like, and then these come out and I was like, but I'm too far behind. I'm not going to watch it, whatever. And then this comes out and I'm like, shit.
Because I was going to say, don't watch them, but
I don't remember anything from it. Like, I just, I know little things about, like, I know the villain in the 4th season is this Vecna guy or whatever. But like, I don't know shit about him, but great. I mean, yeah.
Okay. Only because I don't want to say anything, but it just sucks. It's obviously very spoily for those who haven't seen the show and see the trailers.
But I don't remember it.
Which you'll come to. You won't need to, and I'll tell you, and you'll understand why once you see the 3rd season.
Gotcha.
But yeah. But no, season 4, man. I can't wait to. That's what you should have documented. You should have put that shit on fucking Patreon. But
I gotta watch with Hannah.
I know. Yeah, season 4 is amazing. Okay,
for season 5, I might, but the problem is, no, I won't, because they all come out at once. Jesus. I'm not gonna fucking binge. Like, that's what I love about Disney Plus shows, is I can watch it in the morning, I watch it in the evening with her, and I don't watch it again unless it's incredible, and I'm good. It's just a quick commitment for Patreon. But when you're binging, I'm not gonna sit in this chair for 12 hours straight, fucking kill myself. So I think it's killing Netflix too, doing all these seasons that you just push out all at the same time.
I think they need to stop doing that. And what killed me is that with this season, they did the volume 1 and 2 thing.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, that's dope. Okay, they're gonna fucking split it up, come back, yada yada yada. Volume 2 is only 2 fucking episodes. So I'm like, why did you even need to do that?
Well, from what I heard, it's because they didn't have the VFX finished, and so they just split them up.
Well, probably that. Yeah, I guess that's also true.
Which is sad,
but
also, like, hey, Netflix, you own the fucking property. No one is asking you to, like. But also, you can tell me whether or not, but, like, I would guess season 4 would have been just as great if you had to wait a week in between. Like.
Oh yeah, it would have been even better. Like, the way episode 4 is, and how there's, like, some of these fucking, like, episodes end. Like, I
just watching these other two, they do a phenomenal job of, like, press play immediately on the next one. Like, you have to. Like, they do that really well.
That's why I kind of wish I had that week to give, like, oh my god, what's gonna happen?
Yeah,
like, it's
exactly.
Except I'm like, nope, binge, because oh my god, yeah.
I hear you.
Especially this fucking this season's so fucking great.
Ken, you're over here just talking about Roseanne. So Roseanne has a very, like, for my family at least, it's an iconic bowling episode, because her husband, because Dan is in a bowling league and all that, and then other times it's just them bowling, and I just could not get it out of my fucking head that episode, because one of the things is, like, Dan is going up to bowl, John Goodman, and Roseanne's sitting there, like, doing the score, and the whole thing is, he's like, can everyone please stop talking while I bowl? He's like, if you say something when I'm in my stride, it's gonna mess me up, which is real for me too. I mean, if I'm going to bowl, I learned that a couple days ago. Like, if I'm going to bowl and you say, I'm gonna fuck up. And so at one point they're like, okay, sorry. And then right as he goes up, Roseanne goes, Dan, he's our man. If he can't do it, no. And, like, he's just like, oh my god, like, so mad. And then the next guy goes up, and it's Roseanne's sister's boyfriend, and his name's Booker. Oh, it was fucking Bat Nipples. Why is his name escaping me?
Bat Nipples, George Clooney.
George Clooney is Booker in Roseanne. Young
funny.
George Clooney. But his name's Booker, and he goes up, and one of them goes, I think it's Roseanne. She goes, hey, Booker, did you get that? What did she say? She's like, that infection cleared up yet, or something? And he, like, drops the ball, and, like, it's so fucking good, man. Like, I love that show to death, because it's so white trash, and, like, that's what I fucking am. So yeah, I love it to death. But
it's funny. So next show you definitely need to watch is The Boys. Like, I don't want to hear about any of the fucking show.
I know.
You need to watch The Boys.
That is one I have to do on Patreon. So.
I
gotta get to that
for sure, because that show is just fucking great. In this season, like, just for the acting alone, like, you need to see the fucking thing. Like,
really,
the man who plays the main dude, like Homelander.
Right, I've heard he's great.
It makes no goddamn sense, dude. So you need to watch that. MM is the GOAT. I can't say shit. I can't say shit. But Walker, I fucking disagree, because he needs to learn his goddamn place this season. It's like, bro, I get it. Relax. But because you can't do shit. But
I don't even know who MM is.
I know. That's why you need to watch the fucking show, man. You need to watch the fucking show. Like, it's so, just, again, be ready to go into it to see the most outlandish, outrageous fucking shit you can think of. And diabolical. Yeah. So, just, because if you go in there thinking it's just like a regular, like, oh, superhero type shit, don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, his name is Mother's Milk. Yes, but
that's a character's name.
Yeah.
I'm really hoping, because like I said, I watched the first 2 or 3 episodes when it came out, and I fucking hated it. Like, I was like,
still wild to me.
Like, I was like, I really disliked it. Like, I hated the whole, like, Harvey Weinstein, like, rape shit with, yo, you want to be on the team, this is what you do shit. Like, that really rubbed me the wrong fucking way, because it's so unnecessary. It's so stupid. But yeah, we'll just have to see what happens, because everybody loves this whole show. But
yeah, don't think about necessary with this show at all.
And that's the thing. I mean, I really struggle with the unnecessary. Like, if it's unnecessary, I'm not going to watch it. It's not worth my time.
Motherfucker, learn to balance. This is one of those that really is fucking amazing for unnecessary.
Okay, we'll see.
So this is the time to stick out.
I'm gonna laugh whenever I watch it. I fucking hate it.
It's so something is just wrong at this point. If you fucking hate something, is just wrong. I do not blame the show. This is you for this one.
Because I mean, it really like that. Those first, I want to say I only watched like maybe 2 episodes, but like the whole fucking team, and like having the invisible guy that's like basically fucking being a peeping Tom, and I'm like, man, like, this show fucking sucks, man. Who the fuck likes this? And then everybody's like, oh, this is the greatest show ever. I'm like, what the hell? Okay.
Well, about that, but it's definitely a great ass show. Okay. First season's good. 2 and 3, again, just fucking, just amp it up and like great.
Okay.
And up the ante on everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, check it out, man, and I'll be there ready. Because in the comics, yes.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah. It's man. But yeah, Anthony Starr alone is just fucking beautiful. It's like he needs an Emmy at some point, or at least a nom, I should say. At least
really?
A nom. Yeah, because the way he switches, so you have to see it. Like,
okay.
And everything is subtle. Like, it's so subtle when it's not, and until it's not.
And I mean, that's one that's tough too, because like, since I wasn't watching it and didn't care, like, I don't know what he does, but like, I know he goes berserk in like the 2nd season, and like is covered in fucking blood and all that shit. So like, that's not going to be like a huge surprise to me, because every single person on my timeline was posting that. Like, there's no way to, and I didn't care because I don't watch the show. So I'm like, yeah, sure, fuck it.
Right.
So I don't know. It'll be intriguing to see, but that's the thing, is that's why like that doesn't necessarily spoil me, because I care more about the story. If the story works, then I'll be invested. So we'll see what happens.
It's great, and this next season is even somebody who just watch it. Just watch it.
Is Anthony Starr crazy in real life too?
That I have not heard. I was reading that now. I was like, oh.
Okay.
So that, unless Walker knows something I don't. I
know that. I don't keep up with him.
Yeah, I mean, me neither. All I know is that people are like, hey, would you want to play Wolverine? That's all I really know. I'm like,
wow. I don't.
I'm like, okay.
I think that's a terrible choice.
Yeah, I'm not with that at all. But whatevs.
How tall do you think he is?
I'll give you 5'11".
That's exactly what he is. So he's not super tall in that show?
No, I guess not. I mean, you really can't tell. It's not like, oh, you look short. Like his stature is like, he makes you believe everything. So I'm like, that's the beauty of his acting.
Okay, so he was arrested for assault in March in Spain.
Well, just like beating somebody's ass at a bar. I mean, like, not like domestic type shit. If it's just that
assaulting a chef outside a Costa Blanca pub.
Oh, maybe he tried to poison him.
He was intoxicated, punched him twice before smashing a glass in his face. He was taken to the hospital, and his injuries required 4 stitches to his face.
No, it's okay. It's not crazy. Everybody fights somebody sometimes.
Starr admitted to the drunken assault in a speedy trial after spending 2 nights behind bars. He was given a 12-month suspended sentence and ordered to pay restitution in the amount of $5,000. That ain't much. That ain't fucking much.
It's not. This guy, everybody fights somebody at some point.
That's funny.
It's okay. Yeah, no, he's fine. Go get him, DC. That's funny. Yeah, a lot of people wanted for Reverse Flash.
I think we need to figure out the Flash first.
Right, but
God damn, man.
I was like, I don't think we're about to have a Flash, Obi. So it's all right.
But they need to reverse this Flash movie.
They're not gonna do that.
I know.
Another thing. Umbrella Academy wasn't that bad either. The new season. That was pretty cool. That. I'm not going to force you to do that. I would say that's something you need to watch. So
what about the Wakanda Forever concept art with Namor? And
I thought it was really fucking dope. I was telling Kenny, I posted this on Twitter. I'm like, I don't know who this motherfucker is, but the person that got announced.
Oh, correct. No, that ain't the same fucking guy.
It's supposed to be, but if it is, I was like, what happened? Because he's badass and hot now and looks all cool and shit. That wasn't that motherfucker then, because he had
chubby face and all that shit.
Weird as fucking.
Look all nerdy.
Not in the slightest bit attractive. Like, none of it. They showed me this motherfucker. I'm like, who is this? Did they recast mid-movie?
Yeah.
Because he looks fucking awesome. He looks awesome as shit. In both his little forms or whatever. I'm like, cool. I wish I could say Shuri, looks cool, but she's a fucking jackass. But her outfit looks cool. I guess her concept design. Okoye still is badass. That's really all we got, I think. Really.
Yeah.
So we'll see, I guess. I know we get a Clerks 3 trailer tomorrow. I know that.
I don't even know what that is.
Huh? You know what Clerks is? Sir. So it's one of the greatest cult classic series by Kevin Smith ever. Right. And there's a third one that he's making. And the trailer releases. But Clerks is that's part of history. It's fucking great. And the second one, surprisingly, fucking great too. Because it's been so many years after, but here we go. People said the same thing about Kumail Nanjiani. Dude looks like a cluck before he got. I mean, that's true.
But Kumail got ripped because of the role. Like, him and Batista did that movie together, and he started working out, and then he got that role. It was like, I'm gonna fucking go Batista.
Right.
So I mean, you can't really say that because nobody knew this actor, and then they start showing pictures of him when he got cast, and we were like, who's this scrawny little dude?
Right.
Like,
at least people knew who Kumail was. I guess.
Right.
Like, this guy was just like,
he was jacked. Like, people were seeing him at premieres for things and going, Jesus Christ, man, what are you doing? And he's like, Marvel. I'm getting ripped before I start shooting this movie.
Right, because that's the thing. I remember, like, on interviews and all type of stuff like that, I'm like, this motherfucker's feeling out. Like, before everything was announced, I'm like, why does he look so goddamn?
Exactly.
And then, boom, picture. I was like, oh shit. So, well, there we go.
Yeah, there
we go.
I found this picture. This is the one that
he was in the new Purge movie. Who? Namor fucker? I didn't watch it, so I didn't care. Apparently, he's from Narcos fame.
Oh, that is right, isn't it?
What?
Narcos?
Yeah.
Let me see here. I think I have to do it this way. I'm gonna show that pic. This is the famous picture that he when he got cast. That guy, and he looks scrawny as shit.
He looks stupid. I'm like, that's supposed to be fucking Namor.
Yeah, like that. Nobody, because nobody knew the guy, so like that's what we got, and we were like, who the fuck? But then you see him.
I mean, even that's not bad. But the other pictures was looking him up, in him. I was like, ugh.
Yeah, did not work.
Not at all. Yeah, see, Kenny. Yeah, I'm excited for Clerks 3. Clerks 2 is fucking hilarious. I love that shit. So y'all think M'Baku is someone is going to take the mantle of the Black Panther role? No, it's just gonna live on. It may be, like I said, let's say bring on Killmonger or some shit, some universal, multiversal, whatever the fuck, or give it to Okoye. Because I don't want I want it to be Shuri.
Well, no, but I definitely think originally it was going to be Shuri in this movie.
Yeah, probably.
And I do think that I think they reshot it.
Well, you know, because I was like, this was stupid.
Yeah,
I don't want that.
You can't trust her. I mean, it's an Ezra Miller situation. If you have a lead actor that might have an issue down the line with Johnny Depp, it's like, hey, the thing about the Johnny Depp scenario of recasting him pisses me off more because they won't do it to Amber Heard.
Right.
Like, give her the same treatment.
Right.
Because I don't.
It's proven, motherfucker.
I don't blame them for freaking out whenever it's like he beats his wife in like drunken, drug-filled rampages. It's like, yeah, gotta go, man. You know, and it was super public. With Shuri, it's like, hey, do you want to put all your cards in that basket? Probably not. Figure that shit out. So I don't blame him one bit. If you're not going to get rid of her because she hasn't been proven to do anything crazy, but like all the reports were saying she was difficult.
Oh no, she's a jackass. She's just not anything worthy of like, we got to let you go type shit.
Exactly.
But yeah, no, I'd want Okoye to fully give me.
That'd be my pick. I would like to see something with M'Baku, just because Winston Duke is great and whatever, but he would have to be something with the gorilla. The whole point is he doesn't go after the Panther God. He's with the gorilla God. So
and he turned the shit down already, so that would just backtrack.
But it would be cool. Well, he turned it down because T'Challa's alive right there. I think he would have.
Oh no, he said some other shit like, I don't like you're called worthy and shit like
correct,
that.
Correct, but the whole thing is he's like, hey, I wouldn't do that anyway, but don't ask me because your boy's right here. But I think I don't think he would have said I won't do that if he was the last option. But also they would have just went to one of his minions and be like, we need one of y'all to take this fucking flower. Like, we just need a swole ass dude, please. Who could fight here?
Give it to Okoye and then do that. So
yeah. But also, who has the whole point is we don't have any more of those flowers.
That's what I'm thinking too. So I'm like, how are we gonna? That's what I think. It's just gonna be the legend, but that'll live on and stuff like that. Or they'll create like, hey, we won't have the powers, but we're Wakanda. Here's a fucking suit and just.
That's why I'm worried it's Shuri because also apparently we're gonna get Ironheart in this bitch.
Yeah.
And so it's like, is Shuri over here just making badass suits?
Probably. Who knows? It would be fitting if he'd be like, hey, you're Wakanda, whatever. I'm like, but I fucking love Tony Stark. Like, he was my hero. Oh, cool. Well, here, let me make you a suit from fucking Wakanda and all type of shit like that.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But all right, I think it's a good place to let it go.
About that time.
It's about that time. We want to thank y'all so much for joining us whether live or on our playback. We appreciate it oh so much. And again, if you really enjoyed what you saw here, we encourage you to hit that thumbs up, ring that notification bell to be reminded when all episodes drop. But most importantly, how you can really tell that you have support and that you loved us is by hitting that subscribe button. And it's free. It literally costs nothing. So, subscribe. So, Logan, what you got going on? Tell the people.
Yes, sir. Miss Marvel right now. We're continuing that, you'll see that reaction on Patreon tomorrow morning, bright and early.
Patron.
Patron. Very excited. Let's see what happens there. Yeah, if you're watching on his stream, Logan Swish on YouTube, Twitter right here, hit me up.
Jazzer, and y'all can find me right up top in all forms of social media. So make sure y'all go and hit them follows. Would really appreciate you. And yeah. It's your boy Nat.
And I'm Logan.
And as always, we will see y'all in the cave. Peace.
See you.